Good evening and welcome to the May 5th meeting of the Mayor and Board of Trustees of the Village of Flossmoor. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Before we get started, I want to ask that we pause to honor the memory of Tania Lyons, a beloved student at Homewood-Flossmoor High School and a bright soul that will be missed by many. As we take this moment of silence, let us reflect on the profound sorrow felt by her family, friends, and the community. And may this silence serve as a reminder that no one mourns together, alone. Thank you so much. May our community find strength in one another through kindness during this difficult time. Just a few reminders before we call the roll. This meeting is being streamed for the convenience of those who are unable to make it in person. A few reminders about public comment. I will be calling folks from the public comment sign-up sheet for public comment statements. We ask that you approach the podium and introduce yourself, name and address, that you act with decorum, that you address your public comment to the body at large and not a single member of staff, and that you limit your public comments to 5 minutes per person for a maximum public comment time of 30 minutes. The time is 7:03. Clerk Legapo, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Bradley Scott.
Present.
Trustee Daggett.
Here.
Trustee Driscoll.
Here.
Trustee Lofton.
Here.
Trustee Mitros.
Here.
Trustee Mustafa.
Here.
Mayor Nelson.
Present. Thank you so much. We have a quorum. First up, wishing to present to the public comment to the board is Warren Engelberg. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello,
Well, I'm going to talk about, my name is Warren Engelberg and I live on Butterfield Lane in Flossmoor. I'm going to talk about what we find to be exceptional in America today. Most Americans don't, in actual fact, really identify our capitalist class as the source of the real social problems that we face, and that we have an exceptional capitalist class, that is to say, exceptionally mean, powerful, and distinct from the capitalist classes in other major nations. How has the capitalist class changed in recent decades in ways that are salient to working people and the problems they face? How does this set up a vision for future socialist strategies? To speak to the election, when people on the right succeed, they use an old social Darwinian playbook to say there is a class system, and the class system is do-gooders who tax hardworking people and give it to a bunch of bums somewhere, and that if you just aligned with the protectors of the American way, which is the rich elites, then workers would do better off. Mr. Trump's messaging was all over that. The government, those liberals are taxing money, giving it to illegal immigrants, especially asylum seekers, giving it to prisoners getting gender transition treatments, to college students getting their student debt canceled, and giving your money to Ukraine. So Trump is saying, look, you're being exploited, and I will stop you from being exploited, all of which sounds vaguely Marxian. The problems that Americans face today is that they don't see the social system clearly, the social system that's exploiting them. People see the abundance around them when they go to the store or go online to buy things, but they don't see the social system behind that. Historians have been telling a particular story for a long time, which is just how people hear that phrase American exceptionalism, which they hear all the time, and they think it's about how America is greater than any other country. Actually, we're worse off. And it has everything to do with this powerful force, which is a capitalist class, which is bigger here and more powerful. Why did the Democrats suffer the defeat they did? What did they do? Didn't do? Well, there was a general sense among workers and middle class voters that the country is somehow headed in the wrong direction. This is amorphous, and it comes from many sources. Trade deals that hollowed out manufacturing, immigration that's changing the ethnic makeup of the country, and COVID-related inflation. Trump provided an angry response to that, which many people know is wrong, but they like the anger. The Democrats provided nothing. Blue-collar private workers earn more on average in 1972 than they do today. adjusted for inflation. And Democrats lack language to discuss their victories and to discuss our problems. And they're reluctant to appear as social democrats. They're scared of that word, social. The infrastructure bill, the Inflation Reduction Act, Biden's support for unions, and the social welfare state built in response to COVID were all underplayed in the Harris campaign. The vision they put forward was basically republicanism without Trump. And Trump emphasized that the U.S. has serious problems, even if the ones he harps on are largely fictional. The U.S. instead suffers from capitalism. We are highly unequal, unhealthy, heavily armed, murderous, prison-building society in which the state is expanding to deal with some of those problems. Still, many people believe they live in the greatest country in the world. And who is willing to talk about this? No one. The capitalist class, the organized capitalist class, is literally making it almost impossible for people to find good work, to house their families, and to live meaningful lives. The capitalist class is the last people to get blamed, and they should be the first. Any questions?
Thank you so much. Next I have Pastor Doyle. Welcome.
Trustee.
Want me to pass it?
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, current trustees. For the record, D-O-Y-L-E. This land is your land, R-Y, as a United States Marine Corps veteran. And I'm only going to take 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So I want to thank the current body for the past few months. As you know, Mother's Day is Sunday, and I'm dreading each day passing, because when your mother passes, and it's the first Mother's Day without your mother being on this earth, and I've already shared how mental health, now that we're into May, is real. All I'm going to say is it helps to remember where people thought back in September, in terms of, for many of you, and your emails and your calls, it meant a lot. But some things don't change. As one of four, I still have an older brother, autistic, who has not said a word since our mother passed. And you have many senior citizens in this village, now that it's Mental Health Awareness Month, who, again, mental health, depression, anxiety, etc., presents itself differently with older than it does younger. So what's going around is my parents, on their wedding day, Easter Sunday, 1965, I am my parents' child. And at the same time, I'm going to speak truth. For the outgoing, thank you very much for your service, because regardless of how a democracy votes, you're always first with a God who empowers, enables, and encourages you here. So want to share that. And then for you, those of you who are staying, please remember how I opened. There are senior citizens in this village, because I haven't changed my tune, who have not come out, who won't come out, because my house, property taxes, front page of today's Tribune. At the end of the day, when we look out for those who did the best, for us to have the best, then maybe our conscience will think more than past up to Mother's Day, because there are a lot of mothers, regardless of race, here in Flossmoor, whose own children are ignoring them because all they want is the house in Flossmoor. Think about it. So with that, as I close, and I come back for the second 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Again, for those of you who are staying, this is going to be the most interesting 3 years that America has seen. Hope you're up for the challenge. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Pastor Doyle. I'm deeply sorry for your loss. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Is there anything anybody would like pulled off for discussion? Seeing none, Clerk Galloway, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Bradley Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Daggett.
Yes.
Trustee Driscoll.
Yes.
Trustee Lofton.
Yes.
Trustee Mitros.
Yes.
Trustee Mustafa.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you so much. We don't have any action items, but I just want to say thank you again to the outgoing board members, Trustee Driscoll and Trustee Bradley Scott. It's been an honor to serve with you, and I hope that we can partner together on future projects. Can I get a motion to adjourn sine die?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you so much. And next, we're going to administer the oath of office to the newly elected. And I'm going to turn the mic over to Carl Otteson, who is sitting in for Village Attorney Kathy Orr.
So, good evening. Can we have Mayor Michelle Nelson to the front and center, along with her father, Judge Mike Svetlak. Thank you for being here.
I'd actually like, wow, my husband's here. This is new. I was not expecting this. I'd like my husband Cameron and Cammie. He lost a bet, so we got to name our fourth child after him. And my mom to join me too up at the front.
Repeat after me. I, Michelle Nelson,
I, Michelle Nelson,
having been duly elected to the office of mayor
having been duly elected to the office of mayor
of the Village of Flossmoor,
of the Village of Flossmoor,
County of Cook,
County of Cook,
State of Illinois,
State of Illinois,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the laws of the State of Illinois,
the laws of the State of Illinois,
and the Village of Flossmoor,
and the Village of Flossmoor,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of mayor,
of the office of mayor,
ascending to the best of my ability.
ascending to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
I think the last time we had a photo together was our anniversary, our wedding anniversary, our wedding 26 years ago, wedding 26 years. Wait, I got you, thank you so much. It's really an honor that y'all took time out of your day to be here and to support not me, but the folks who will be being sworn in and the folks who are also leaving the board. We really appreciate your support. 4 years ago when I ran, I talked about what an honor it was to be the mayor of a village of doers. This is not a job that you take on alone. This is a job that you take on to work with people. And it takes many different hands in order to have a village that is as beautiful, welcoming, and connected as the Village of Flossmoor. So if you could bear with me a minute, there's some folks that I want to point out and thank for all they do. First, I want to thank everybody who has served, either served in the past or currently serving on one of our village commissions. So if I could have all of the commissioners past and present rise and be congratulated and thanked for your service. Your work makes Flossmoor more sustainable, beautiful. It helps folks make changes to their home to accommodate their interests, and it also helps with economic development. So thank you so much for that. Next, I'd like to ask for any of our religious leaders or leaders of a 501c3 or board members on a 501c3 to stand up so we can say thank you to you as well. call. Every single time there's a need, you answer the call. And so we really appreciate all of your contributions to the village. Thank you. Next, I'd like to see everybody who's volunteered to help at one of our events, whether it's an event that one of our commissions has hosted, planting trees, picking up garbage, fundraisers for the art commission, whatever you've helped with, either for our commissions or for one of our local non-for-profits, would you please stand up? That's most of this room, by the way. Next, I'd like to recognize the other elected officials in this room. We don't work in a silo, we work together to make this village shine. So if you've served on a local school board, the Homewood-Flossmoor Park District, or one of our surrounding towns, I see my cousin Carolyn there, please stand up and be recognized for your service. I see some local business owners who are incredibly special and add to the vibrancy of the village of Flossmoor. And they support a lot of events throughout the village and a lot of activities, but really they focus in on schools and families and events that bring people together. And I'd like for those folks, those business owners, to stand up and be recognized. Next is an incredible honor to work with a professional staff. They take their jobs very seriously. Service is at the heart of everything that they do for this community, and it is an honor to work with these fine individuals. If you are a member of staff for the village, would you please stand up? Thank you. And last but not least, to the board members, the village board members who have come before us, the village members who are leading us, and the village board members who will be representing us for the next 4 years. I want to thank them for all of their efforts, for giving up their time to serve the residents of the community. It's a team effort, and it takes a lot of hands. So thank you so much, board. Would you please stand up? I hit the jackpot when I told my husband we were going to move to Flossmoor and raise our family here. And I just wanted to say a few words about them. I want to thank my wonderful husband of 26 years for being here. He raced from a board meeting to be here, and this was a really nice surprise, so thank you. He is he is incredibly smart and has an incredible career, and if it weren't for the fact that he is who he is, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. So I really thank him for letting me have this opportunity and being an awesome example to our kids. I have 4 kids. 3 of them are actually in finals right now, so we won't see them until next weekend and the following weekend. So please say prayers for them that they have a good, successful finals week. But I brought our caboose, Cammie. Cammie is a sophomore at HF High School, and if you've got a Cammie in your life, you are just incredibly lucky and blessed. Cammie, she gives me pep talks, whether I need them or not, and most of the time I do need them, and she can sense that. She leaves the car with a smile on her face, hoping that I have a great day and giving me, I don't know, some great line. And I love her to pieces, and I appreciate all of her positive energy and vibes. So thank you, Cammie. And then last but not least, I have my parents here, and it's just such a huge honor. My dad swore me in 4 years ago, and he's here again to swear me in tonight. My parents are an incredible example of having a servant's heart. They wake up every day trying to figure out how they can serve others. They volunteer regularly throughout their community back in Kansas City, Missouri. They are problem solvers. They're super creative. There's nothing that they can't figure out, and they're always constantly trying to better themselves. And in 2 weeks, they're going to celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary. So please congratulate them. Again, thank you for the honor of serving for the next 4 years. I am super excited about what we're going to accomplish together. We're going to have a great time continuing to promote the village, building the village, and also improving the services for the village. And again, I can't do it without all of you here, so thank you so much for all that you do and for running with me. And now we're going to swear in Trustee Gary Daggett. Thank you.
Can we have Joshua Daggett, Leo Daggett, Hannah Daggett come up, please?
All right. I, Joshua Daggett, having I, Gary Daggett, having been duly elected to the office of village trustee
Having been duly elected to the office of village trustee
of the village of Flossmoor of Cook County, or of County of Cook, in the state of Illinois.
of the village of Flossmoor, Cook County, in the state of Illinois,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
the laws of the State of Illinois,
the laws of the state of Illinois,
and the Village of Flossmoor,
and the village of Flossmoor,
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of village trustee
of the office of village trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
All right, so my wife can tell you it's a dangerous thing to give me a microphone. My wife should keep it. So I'll keep it brief. My wife knows I'm very emotional. I'm usually very much on guard while I'm up here, but we moved to Flossmoor 15 years ago because of these three, and this one wasn't even here yet. But we moved here because this is where we wanted to plant our roots, and this is where we wanted to raise our family. And Flossmoor is Troy and I both have this disease. Flossmoor has given back to us in ways that I could not even have imagined. And thank my family because they give up a lot for me to be here. This is my desire. This isn't necessarily their desire. And the number of times I've come home from a meeting and had conversations with my wife, most of the time I can't even tell her details about what I have to talk about, and she's just there for me and supports me. The perspective that I get from my family is absolutely why I am who I am. These kids drive me to be better, and I'm the man that I am because of my wife. Those of you who supported me and voted for me, thank you. I don't take that lightly. Those of you who did not vote for me, thank you. You voted. I don't take that lightly. And I'll serve every single one of you, no matter whether you voted for me or not, no matter whether you expressed your support or expressed that you did not support me. I'm here to serve you guys. That's why I'm here. Anytime you have a question, a concern, you feel like I do something wrong or right, feel free to approach me. I will be more than happy to have that conversation with you. I'm looking forward to the next 4 years of working with all of you guys, with Carolyn and with Kevin. Kevin, I told him his penalty is he has to sit next to me for the next 4 years. But thank you so much. I appreciate everyone who's coming out to support, whoever you're here to support. Thank you.
Pauling, a close friend, to do the swearing in.
Good evening, everyone. What do you want? I'm used to following the meeting. Well, first I wanted to thank you guys for keeping one of our lost HF Vikings in your thoughts and prayers tonight. It's a tragedy, and we appreciate you taking a moment to recognize that family. Before I minister to you, I did want to say a couple of words to Kevin. We go back, as they say, a long way. And we've been friends a long time. I'm sorry. Okay. I've never been accused of being too quiet, but I was just saying to my friend Kevin, who goes back a very long way with me. I know this is a proud moment for you and your family, and I wanted to thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. It is a high honor and a distinct privilege to administer this oath to you, mainly because I can't think of anyone who is more qualified and ready to serve the residents of this community. And when I voted for you, my vote was a commitment to support you and to stand by you and to work with you. And as I administer this oath, I do it thanking God for giving you, for blessing you with a spirit to serve, and blessing you with the ability to lead, and blessing you with all of the traits and qualities that will allow you to competently carry out the duties of this office. So congratulations. When you're ready to take your oath, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Kevin Dorsey.
I, Kevin Dorsey.
Having been duly elected to the office of village trustee.
Have been duly elected to the office of village trustee.
Of the village of Flossmoor.
Of the village of Flossmoor.
Of the county of Cook.
Of the county of Cook.
And of the state of Illinois.
And of the state of Illinois.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States of America.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States of America.
And the Constitution of the state of Illinois.
And the Constitution of the state of Illinois.
The laws of the state of Illinois.
The laws of the state of Illinois.
And the village of Flossmoor.
And the village of Flossmoor.
And that I will faithfully discharge.
And I will faithfully discharge.
The duties of the office of village trustee.
The duties of the office of village trustee.
According to the best of my ability.
According to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, brother.
I've been a resident of Flossmoor for about 23, 24 years. And the majority of that I've been a single parent. And I've said during my campaign, and I really do mean this, I'm certain many of you have heard that it takes a village to raise a child. Flossmoor has been my village. I see even some of my neighbors in the audience, and literally you have raised my two children, well, adult children now, my son Bryce and my daughter Shelby. You have raised them alongside of me. I don't think we would have had the success of me being a single parent without a village like Flossmoor. I can't think of another place like this. I bring people into this community, they say it's Mayberry, but with a little more flavor. Being a single parent for the last 13, 14 years, I'm absolutely amazed that there's a woman who's decided to marry me. My lovely wife, Melanie. Well, lovely wife is here. We have 20 days until our wedding, and I'm grateful. My oldest sister, Cynthia, will tell you that I'm her firstborn child. And there's some real truth to that. Whenever you see me in a childhood photo, that was the lap I was sitting on. Whenever you see me being scolded because I did something wrong, that was the person behind the bill. So literally without her, I definitely wouldn't be the man that I am today. So I love you, and I bless you for that. Along with my colleague, Trustee Daggett, and I think it is a blessing that I get to sit next to you because he actually comes with a wealth of experience that if you see me bending over, it's not me like asking about the latest sports stats. It's literally like, hey, what we doing here? So it's an honor to sit next to you, Gary. But as Gary said, for those who voted for me, I thank you. And I agree with him. For those who didn't, I thank you as well. I thank you for getting out the vote. We still want to get a larger voter turnout as each election. I won't be a stranger. I promise to be available and open. And I hope to serve you well. And lastly, Gerald is not just a friend. I don't use this lightly. Gerald is a brother. We coach football together. We watched our kids grow up together. And I mirror myself from some of the great people in this community. And if you want to know what it is to be a man and want to know what it is to be a father, you could get no better example than Gerald. And I took a lot of that from you, my friend. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for coming out.
Next up, we have Trustee Carolyn D. Rogers. Let's have Caper L. Estes III, brother, be here to help swear it in. Thank you, sir. All right, let's get this Repeat after me. I, Carolyn D. Rogers,
I, Carol Miller,
having been duly elected to the office of village trustee
having been duly elected to the office of trustee
of the village of Flossmoor
of the village of Flossmoor
of the county of Cook
of the county of Cook
and the state of Illinois,
and the state of Illinois,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
of America
of America
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
the laws of the state of Illinois,
the laws of the state of Illinois,
and the village of Flossmoor,
and the village of Flossmoor,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of village trustee
of the office of village trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
I'm not going to get emotional because Gary already did. But first of all, I want to thank my entire family. When I started out, it was a long road because I lost my dad. So I want to say thank you to my mom for supporting me through this journey. All of my siblings, I'm missing one. This is my oldest brother, Caper, my sister, Christy, my brother, Tim. I'm missing my brother, Demetrius isn't here, and my sister, Crystal, back there. I also want to acknowledge my cousin, Quentin. That's my bonus brother. We go everywhere together. My auntie is here to represent the family. I want to thank you to Ted. That's another family friend, now a family member. Ms. Powell, that's been our neighbor for years. She came to support. I want to say thank you to her and also to Jeff, who is also another brother. And I also want to thank my sister-in-law who's back here recording. I can't forget her. We call her the coordinator, Charlene. But, you know, what I want to do right now is thank the Village of Flossmoor, again, whether you voted for me or not, because you guys actually kept me going from the beginning to the end. I also want to thank the outgoing trustees and the current trustees because we were on tour together. And I got a chance to get to know all of them. And we have some really good residents that represent us in Flossmoor. I would have been happy either way, whether I won or not, because I got a chance to really know them. And we have some really sincere folks here that want to represent you, represent us, and that has the best interest for the Village of Flossmoor. But I also want to thank the Village of Flossmoor just for voting for me, and for those who didn't, thank you as well, because you got a chance to have a conversation with me and be honest with me about the things that are your concerns. And so I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be your voice. That's what I hope to be, and we'll continue to do so. And I guess we'll get down to business. Thank you. The person that's missing here is my husband. He actually has a procedure tomorrow, but he's watching us via Zoom, so I want to acknowledge him because I would not have done this unless he gave me his approval, because I'm involved in a lot of things, and it takes away from the family, and so he actually encouraged me to do this. So I'm glad that he supported me in this, and I want to say thank you, Maurice. I know you're watching. And so I didn't want to, leave without saying thank you to him.
The next person to be sworn in tries to keep what this group does in order in the written minutes of the meetings. The village clerk is responsible for maintaining the records of the village. It's a very important position, and you've seen the characters that she has to deal with up here, so let's have her, if she still wants to be sworn in again, re-elected, Gina McCall.
I got to marry her a couple of years ago, so it was an incredible. No. Our wonderful husband Joe, who is here to support her today. So it was an incredible honor that you would ask me to swear you in today. Please raise your right hand. I, Gina Logalbo.
I, Gina Logalbo.
Having duly been elected to the office of clerk.
Having been duly elected to the office of clerk.
Of the Village of Flossmoor, County of Cook.
Of the Village of Flossmoor, County of Cook.
And the State of Illinois.
And the State of Illinois.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States of America.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States of America.
And the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
And the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
The laws of the State of Illinois and the Village of Flossmoor.
The laws of the State of Illinois and the Village of Flossmoor.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of clerk.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of clerk.
According to the best of my abilities.
According to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. The United States of America line gets me emotional every time. It takes me back, is it 27 years when I was sworn in as a Marine Corps veteran. So every time I give that, they go, hoorah, I get a little emotional. So I'm not going to talk long because I don't want to get emotional, but I just wanted to say that I'm very proud to live in this village for so many reasons. It's already started. This is an amazing place. We have amazing residents. We have fantastic staff. I don't think the residents even know how amazing our staff are, that they are fantastic. Lucky to have a fabulous mayor and board. And when I moved here, I was a single mother, and I found the love of my life here when I moved to Flossmoor. And I've gotten so much back from this village, a wonderful place to raise my 4 children. And also, since you appointed me as clerk 4 years ago, I have gotten so much back from that. Amazing friendships with a lot of people here, just amazing opportunities, even a new career path as a municipal attorney. So I am so grateful. And thank you to the village for voting for me. Thank you.
Okay, and now we're going to have the new board take their seats. So this will look like a little shuffling at the desk. Jim Lycos is getting the new view for the first time in decades. Get started with the meeting of the new board, now that everybody's seated, and thank you so much for making this just a joyous occasion for everybody. I appreciate it. The time is 7:52. Clerk Wagaba, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Daggett.
Here.
Trustee Dorsey.
Here.
Trustee Lofton.
Here.
Trustee Mitros.
Here.
Trustee Mustafa.
Here.
Trustee Rogers.
Here.
Mayor Nelson.
Present, thank you so much. We have a quorum. Before I call for public comment, I would like to invite my friend and Flossmoor resident, Pastor Andrea Denny, to the front to give an invocation for the new board. We've been friends for 20 some odd years. Our kids played soccer together, went to school together. She's a mom of 3 and a wonderful wife and just a great friend and community member. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Will you pray with me? Holy One, whose name is love in every religion and creed, we welcome you. We come to you with grateful hearts. We give thanks for this village, for all who have lived here, built lives, families, and businesses here. We give thanks for every new resident, those who learned who we are and decided we would be even stronger with them. We're grateful for those who have given their best gifts and talents in service of this community and for their families, the way they've sacrificed time in order that their loved one could serve the people of Flossmoor. In addition to our thankful hearts, we come to you with hope-filled hearts. Today we are at the dawn of a new day, a day in which we've administered the oath of office to a new constellation of leaders, and we pray your blessings on them. We pray your blessings on Michelle as she continues in her role as mayor. We pray your blessings on those trustees who will give their time and talent in service to the people of Flossmoor and the south suburbs. Guide, protect, and provide for Gary and Carolyn, Kevin, Roslyn, George, and James. Lord, we know when all voices are represented and heard, we get closer to creating the world as it should be. Grant that we first see each other as created in your image. Grant that we see each other as friends and neighbors before we attach labels like progressive or conservative, Democrat or Republican. And it's a big ask, but help us all, leaders and community members alike, to assume good intentions and communicate with grace. God of us all, help us build relationships of honesty so we can speak the truth even when it's hard. Give us relationships of courage so we stay at the table and listen when someone explains that we've injured them. Give us relationships of mutual concern so we never lose sight of one another's humanity. Give us a passion for justice so that we discover the ways some members of our community are not treated equitably, and so that we bring reconciliation with humility and grace. God, many members of our community are grieving loss, but tonight we especially ask that you be with the family of Tamaya, the HF student who died this weekend. As her family journeys through unspeakable grief, help us to do what we do best, come alongside the hurting to show them in tangible ways they will not be left alone to do the work of grieving. We know that leadership is difficult and not everyone is called to this work. Yet each of us is called to love our neighbors, and in doing that, we will build our community. Today and in all the days to come, give us energy and love to match our wildest imagination. Amen.
Thank you so much. Pastor Andrea. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Next, I have public comment from citizens wishing to address the board. And first, I have Mr. Warren Engelberg. Welcome.
Thank you again. Thanks for the opportunity to speak again in my presentation tonight instead of next time we meet. Warren Engelberg. I live in Flossmoor, Butterfield Lane. So, what is the exceptional quality of the United States capitalist class? What is the core idea that makes it exceptional? Because it is exceptional. From the 1870s, that period to now, what emerged in the United States was a capitalist class that was much bigger. We had large corporations with over 100,000 employees over a century ago. And you didn't see that in other countries. This capitalist class was extremely reactionary and basically was able to suppress any efforts by the working class to try and improve life for itself for some 70 years until the Great Depression. There were some class victories for the working class in the 30s and the 50s, another round for another part of the working class in the 60s. But during that period, when things were getting better, where we got the weekend, where we got middle class wages, housing, things like that, at least for white people, the American capitalist class was doing something that was not happening in Europe, which was scheming to dislodge those class victories. And because it had immense resources to do so, it was able to build a political and ideological movement that led to what a lot of people on the left called neoliberalism 40 years ago, 40 years later. All right. If you look at similar countries in Europe, their capital was weakened by the experience of World War II, and the American capitalist class was strengthened by it. Bring this up till today, and what you see is where working classes were able to make more permanent class breakthroughs on their own behalf through struggle in left-wing politics in other countries. While here, we faced a much more powerful, marauding entity that dominates working class life in the workplace and dominates American politics. We've had different versions of big capital. We used to have an industrial version. Now we have one more based on finance and merchant capital. But each incremental evolution has maintained that sort of sense of dominance of power, so much so that a lot of our problems now have much to do with that history that people aren't so familiar with. And obviously, they're not necessarily seeing the forces that are affecting them negatively now. What is the way forward for a working class that is now trapped with this exceptional capitalism, suffering in the way they are, and about to probably suffer more? Where do we go from here? We need to recognize that the capitalist class we have now is quite different from what we had 50 years ago. It is dominated by finance and merchant capitalists. There's also the tech capitalists. We can talk about that. But finance and merchant capital, they see profits without producing anything. They think they make money by just sitting around waiting for checks to come in. So there's a lack of recognition of the importance of production, and that's why there is emphasis in terms of changing the way the enterprise is organized. And for us, this is a long game. It won't change things by 2028, but maybe by 2055, we will have a large sector of worker-owned and worker-managed and worker-directed enterprises. So we can change the distribution of income not by trying to capture the state, although that has to be part of the strategy, but by capturing the corporation and the enterprise. And this is growing, as you know, and even some of the trade unions are now beginning to see that they need to get involved in this game. So you have to play the long game as well as playing the short game of educating people as to how the system works, and that their problems are not due to people who are coming over the border, because the US has destroyed their societies, and so they're going to come here. That's not the issue. The issue is the overwhelming dominance of the capitalist class, not just in the economy, but inside people's heads. That's what we need to work on.
Thank you, Mr. Engelberg. Next I have Pastor Doyle. Welcome.
So a continuation of the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So Saturday, May 6th, waking up 2 years ago to find that a Chicago Police Department officer, after working 8 hours, named Ariana, murdered in her uniform. The reason why I open with that is because here in Homewood, you're mourning the loss of a child, and it is out of natural order for a parent to bury a child. Layer 1. Layer 2 is how Officer Preston was murdered. Layer 3, the reason or lack thereof why Officer Preston was murdered. So I gave the same flyer that's going along to you all as an elected body. The same flyer was just given to Chief Estelle to ask that the Flossmoor Police Department send a representative to that event tomorrow, because in the last 2 years, Ariana Preston's parents' marriage gone, grief heightened, and again, for a daughter doing her job. What does that have to do with Flossmoor? Remember, in the last 4 years, mental health, mistake, murder, questions, and is there real resolution? Because you still have elderly residents of both genders who may enter or exit their house disillusioned because of everything they're going through in their lives, of which 4 years ago, there wasn't the threat of Social Security being diminished or eliminated, as well as property taxes heightened. I trust you understand that I'm not speaking in code, that's the reality, but I also was speaking of about the 64-year-old who was murdered for being old, or female, or African American. Only heaven knows. The reason why I bring that up is we have a new body. And 6 months ago, when I said it would be nice to see an event in May for Mental Health Awareness Month, focusing specifically on the elderly in conjunction with maybe Homewood, because again, cannot fix what you will not face. So, as a newly sworn and elected body, just remember, in many homes in Flossmoor, you have many older individuals who could care less what day it is. because of the lack of empathy, love, and everything else going on in their lives. If they didn't wake up, that would be fine with them. Not that they would end their own lives, but that's just how dark a lot of lives are for the elderly. So as a clinical social worker, as a pastor, but more importantly, a Marine Corps veteran who is seeing a therapist, because again, this will be the first Mother's Day without my mother. Please know that this will be continued tomorrow night at the Homewood-Flossmoor High School Board meeting, and Mr. Edwin Castro right there in the back will continue the conversation. So either attend or listen in, because mental health is real. God bless.
Thank you so much, Pastor Doyle. Next, recognitions and appointments. I don't have anything for tonight, so I'll move straight on to the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Thank you. Is there anything anyone would like to hold off for discussion?
Yes, Mayor, I would like to ask just a question about 7. You can pull it for me, please.
Anything else? All right, can I get a motion to approve consent agenda items number 4, 5, and 6, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Clerk Legabo, would you please call the roll on items 4, 5, and 6?
Trustee Daggett.
Yes.
Trustee Dorsey.
Yes.
Trustee Lofton.
Yes.
Trustee Mitros.
Yes.
Trustee Mustafa.
Yes.
Trustee Rogers. Yes. Motion passes.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve consent agenda item number 7, consideration of an ordinance authorizing the sale of certain surplus personal property owned by the Village of Flossmoor?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. And I'll start with Trustee Lofton, since you asked for this to be pulled.
I'll address this to Dan since his name is on the presentation. Just a question. We have a number of vehicles that we are sending to auction. And I really have 2 questions. One, can you give us an idea of the value of that transaction, I should say?
Yes, that is very much part of the process. We reach out to the auctioneer, in this case American Auto Auction in Crestwood, and we ask for a expected value. So each vehicle has an expected value that they've given us. That's based on the acronym is MMR. It's a certain report that's used within the industry to assign these values, and it's based on sales in the region and such. So it's a pretty good idea of what that vehicle will go for at auction.
And how close do we get to that?
Generally speaking, about the same. There have been times where we have received more. Obviously, the industry has been a lot different since the pandemic. Prices have been all over the map, but generally, it's pretty in line with what the expected value is.
Have we ever thought of opening this up for sale to the residents?
I can't say so, at least in recent history. I'm not sure if there'd be any reasons. No, we haven't done that, no.
We wouldn't be scaring them with our vehicles, would we?
Pretty families,
All right, there's a few.
sell it to a friend.
Yeah, there's a few that have been past their useful life cycle, that's for sure.
All right. Well, that's really, I won't suggest we go there yet, but thanks for the information.
Sure.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions on this item? If not, Clerk Legabo, would you please call the roll on consent agenda item number 7?
Trustee Dorsey.
Yes.
Trustee Lofton.
Yes.
Trustee Mitros.
Yes.
Trustee Mustafa.
Yes.
Trustee Rogers. Trustee Daggett.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you so much. We don't have any formal reports of the commissions, but I just want to point out Ms. Philippa Leon Thompson in the back. She just retired from 10 years of service on the Community Relations Commission, most recently as the chair of that commission. Thank you for your service to that organization. I don't think she's going anywhere because promptly from retiring from that job, she got to work at Park Pride Day directing all of the traffic in Downtrade, and it looks good. So thank you very much. Also want to thank the CRC for the new resident event that was almost 2 weeks ago. It was really well attended and a lot of fun to highlight a local business and fun to change it up and do it on a Thursday night when I think some more folks had availability. So thank you for all of your work. Also want to thank the Green Commission. They supported Earth Month, which was April, by helping out with 161 schools. They had a cleanup of the Heather Hill School grounds with the Heather Hill PTO, and they also planted a pollinator garden over at Parker Junior High. So thank you to those who are serving on Green Commission. And then just a quick reminder, today is the last day to purchase gear, Flossmoor gear online for the sale that benefits the Art Commission and the Public Sculpture Fund. So go online tonight before it closes. Next, action items. Can I get a motion to consider a contract extension with Advanced Sweeping Services for the fiscal year 2026 street sweeping program?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. And here presenting, I have Assistant Public Works Director Dan Milovanovich. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Board. Included in FY26 budget is $40,000 for street sweeping services. This is an annual contract. The purpose of this program is to not only clean the streets for aesthetic purposes, but also, most importantly, to remove debris from curbs and gutters so that stormwater can get to our catch basins. The contract was originally bid in 2024. Advanced Sweeping Services was the lowest bidder with $43,884.50 as their bid. The quantities that is used in the bid documents are only estimates for the purpose of securing unit prices. The actual program expenditures are limited to $40,000. The contract has a provision which allows us to extend the contract up to 3 years as long as both parties agree. We've spoken with our contractor. They are willing to hold the unit prices again for another year. So that is our recommendation this evening. We are asking the board to, or requesting that the mayor and board waive the competitive bid process and authorize the village manager to sign an extension agreement with Advanced Sweeping Services.
Thank you so much. I'll take questions and comments from Trustee Mitros.
I have none.
Thank you. Trustee Mustafa.
Thanks, Dan. Just a question for clarification. So if I understand correctly, this is different than a not to exceed. This is just managing the expenses until you reach 40,000, just for clarification.
Well, yes, I mean, the budget is $40,000. We are not looking to spend more than that unless there is a circumstance beyond our the unforeseen circumstance. For example, this year we had that tornado that happened in July, which forced us to have quite a bit more street sweeping than we would normally have. But generally speaking, we fall underneath that budget number, somewhere in the $38,000, $39,000 marks, generally speaking.
Again, just for clarification, what's the process for holding it to 40,000? Since they bid almost 44.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so again, it's to secure the unit price. So generally speaking, we don't have a set schedule, but we have a rough schedule. We can quantify an estimate of how much that'll put us at, and then throughout the year, as those sweepings come up, we will obviously keep an eye on how things are going. So that's how we generally manage it. Is we have them in 5 to 7 times a year, sometimes for events, for just small areas, but it's just keeping track of the invoices and watching the budget.
Thank you. And I need to mention to my colleague that I really like sitting here because I can look right at you.
We usually got the side eyes going.
Yeah, we're just kind of like looking at each other side eyes and I'm like, this is great.
Okay, I agree.
Thank you.
Trustee Rogers.
No questions.
Trustee Day.
So a couple questions. First off, don't take this in any way as me like trying to tell you how to do your job or anything like that. I assume, because I know how well you guys manage this stuff, have we ever priced out what a street sweeper costs? Yeah. Is it above 250,000?
I think they're closer to 350 now,
Yeah.
and they're very high maintenance.
Yeah. And what's the lifespan of one of those? 10 years if you're lucky?
Yeah, maybe 10 years.
Okay.
I know they're very hard to maintain,
Yeah.
and it's a constant maintenance issue, and you have to have people on board that are able to service them. And I don't know if that's the case at this point in time, but they are very expensive.
I figured that was the case. I just wanted to ask for the
Yeah.
context of it, which is why $40,000 a year, which sounds like a lot of money, is a splash in the pan compared to how much we would actually use one of those and what the maintenance and extra manpower would be. So, yeah, no, you guys are always on top of it. I just, for context, wanted to ask. So, yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Dorsey.
Yeah, Dan, thanks for your presentation. I do acknowledge you saying you stay within the $40,000 budget, but in the event there is something that causes us to go over, is there a set cost to that? Do they have an hourly rate or a per incident rate? I assume it was used the same organization to do that.
Yeah, the unit price is good for any of the services that we receive from them. So in their case, I believe it's $161.50 per hour, and that would be even if we go over the $40,000 mark, it's still the unit price, and that's their hourly rate for us.
That's a lot.
Thank you. Trustee Watson.
No question.
And along that same line of cleanup, we did just get $55,000 grant from Cook County to cover our expenses from the tornado last summer. So
yes,
appreciate Cook County passing that along and helping us cover some of those costs.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, if there's no more questions, Clerk Legalvo, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Lofton.
Yes.
Trustee Mitros.
Yes.
Trustee Mustafa.
Yes.
Trustee Rogers. Trustee Daggett.
Yes.
Trustee Dorsey.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you so much. Can I get a motion to approve an agreement renewal with Smith Garson?
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. I'm going to ask Village Manager Bridget Wachtel to present. A couple of years ago when Biden's infrastructure bill was passed, I saw those dollars and I saw it as an awesome opportunity for the village to go after federal funds for infrastructure repairs. We were lucky enough to get introduced to Smith Dawson, and they've done some outstanding work for us. I've been very pleased with their progress, and I'll let Manager Wachtel present.
Thank you. That's a great lead into this agenda item. Smith Dawson Andrews is now Smith Garson. I believe this is the third year that we will be looking to renew a contract with them. They have been an investment that has paid off for sure. We have been able to secure just under $1 million in federal funding toward capital infrastructure work, specifically the Flossmoor Road Viaduct project. We were slated to receive additional Section 219 money in the FY25 cycle, but unfortunately those funds have not been appropriated with no federal budget passed. And Congresswoman Kelly will be looking to advance Flossmoor as one of the communities from fiscal year 25 to 26 appropriations, and hopefully will be successful. Their office has also been very helpful with respect to moving paperwork along. The other part of once you actually are awarded a grant, there's a lot of paperwork to go through the grant approval process, and sometimes the wheels of bureaucracy can move slowly. So their office has been very helpful in moving that paperwork along and making sure that we're receiving those funds as quickly as possible. We meet with their staff every couple of weeks and check in with them. They also have been helpful in orchestrating meetings with our delegation and with different offices at the federal level, staffers who actually review our applications, especially for competitive awarded grants. And those meetings have been successful as well. Smith Garson is holding the terms of the agreement from what they were last year and the year before. And those are included in the board's packet. The contract's been reviewed by our village attorney, and we're looking for approval from the board this evening.
Thank you so much, and a special shout out to Senator Dick Durbin, and also Congresswoman Kelly, who have been extremely helpful and supportive of the village and our capital projects. I'll start with questions from Trustee Lofton.
No questions.
Thank you. Trustee Mitros.
I have no questions other than saying that these agreements have been very beneficial to the village. And it's only something we started several years ago, and it's paid off and grows. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Mustafa.
I just have one question, perhaps our village manager could answer. If we did not have this agreement, what would our options be?
We would simply be going it alone, and we certainly do have relationships with our federal delegation. But we'd be writing those grant applications on our own. It's just a boost of assistance and making sure that, you know, our applications and our requests are getting the attention through those competitive processes.
And also opening some doors that we didn't have access to, like the EPA, knowing who to call.
Is there, I know I said I had one question, but this is a follow-up. Is there expertise also that they provide? We wouldn't know as much about the requirements of the grant as we do now. Some of them are quite complex.
Yes, and I think what they also do is bring to our attention opportunities that we may not otherwise know about. You know, the XYZ grant has opened up, you know, this might be appropriate for the village if you want to give this a consideration. So that has been helpful.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Like, just add one more thing to that. They're also really good at identifying what we have a good shot at getting, so that we're not spinning our wheels or wasting time going after things that we might not even have a shot at.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Rogers.
Actually, Trustee Rob. Stop. One of these days. Actually, asked a question that I was going to ask because I was thinking, I know it's a beneficial service, but if we don't get those funds, would we be considering hiring a grant writer?
I don't see them having the same connections and expertise that we have through Smith Dawson, well, Smith Garson. Step on the old name. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think, I mean, a grant writer provides, I think, a different level of expert, a different area of expertise. Not that grant writers don't have their place, they certainly do, but I think this is a little bit different where I think, as the mayor just said, we have somebody, a team who's able to open some doors and make sure that our projects, our applications, our issues are getting before the federal delegation. It's also an opportunity, and we've seen this very much so over the last couple of months, when there's discussions at the federal level on, you know, large programs, you know, what's the impact locally, and so we're able to pass that information along to them, and they're able to share that again with our delegation and with staffers at the federal level, so they're aware of the impact that they're making to local communities.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Trustee Daggett.
Yeah, no questions. I mean, this one obviously has been one of those ones where you have to spend money to get money, but it's been very effective, and I think with the potential for the size of the pie and our cut of the pie getting smaller in the next time, I think having someone who's there and knows when these things come up so we don't miss those opportunities is very important. You know, if the government was just throwing around money when we asked, it would be another story, but it's just not happening. So to me, having someone who's there who knows us and then knows how to present us is beneficial. So I'm fully in favor of it.
Thank you. Trustee Dorsey.
Yeah, I think the $1 million thus far represents a great return on the investment. The greed factor, he says, do we have any idea what the funds that are on hold might represent in dollars? I know with the federal government right now, everything is up in the air, but any way to gauge that at all?
We don't. we've been told that there's several communities all included in this same pot of funds, but we haven't been told how that pot's going to be divvied up. So it's a little bit of a waiting game. But the good news is we're included. We're in the mix.
Absolutely. No, good job.
Thank you. Clerk Lugabo, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Mitros.
Yes.
Trustee Musaka.
Yes.
Trustee Rogers.
Yes.
Trustee Daggett.
Yes.
Trustee Dorsey.
Yes.
Trustee Lofton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you so much. Can I get a motion to approve a resolution of the Village of Flossmoor, Cook County, Illinois, approving an agreement with the retail coach?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. This is another professional relationship that we started. We're in our third year. They've been extremely helpful in helping us advertise the strengths of the village. We have demographic information on the village that's posted on Retail 360 on our website. They were able to come up with all that data for us. That data has been invaluable and something that we share with every single person who shows an interest in the Village of Flossmoor. And so I will turn it over to Village Manager Wachtel to present.
Thank you. If approved, this agreement will be the third year of our relationship with the retail coach, and they really have served as an extension of our economic development team, which consists of Director Bugner, the mayor, and myself. And they have been, as the mayor mentioned, very helpful in identifying retailers and developers for recruitment, analyzing trade and market data, putting that information into demographic and psychographic analysis and charts and so forth that you'll find on our Retail 360 site, which is available through the village's website. They have represented us at various retail and trade shows, most notably the one coming up at the end of May, the ICSC, or International Council of Shopping Centers trade show in Las Vegas. There they will be targeting retail end users, including restaurants, quick service restaurants, entertainment users, and others to consider a Flossmoor location, most notably Southwest Flossmoor near Meyer. This is the third year of our relationship, and we knew that it would take a few years to be able to garner some success. So we will be looking more critically at this contract. If it's approved this year, we'll be taking a look more critically at it for a fourth year of renewal. All of the terms remain with an annual cost of $27,500. The board has, I've had a request for a 6-month update to the village board with an option to present that report. And the Mr. Farmer, who represents the retail coach, who I believe is on our call this evening, has agreed to provide that report within the terms and price of the contract, and has revised the amendment to the agreement to reflect that. And I shared that with the board earlier today, but I do have hard copies if anybody would like one. As I mentioned, I believe Aaron Farmer is on the call here this evening. I don't know if Aaron would like to make any comments. John, can you help facilitate that?
All right, can y'all hear me okay?
Welcome in.
Awesome. Hey, good to see y'all tonight. I appreciate you giving me just a minute here. Bridget, just to add to your comments there, I think it's been a fruitful partnership so far, just with the market analysis data that you talked about and the dashboard that's been put together, but also that representation at some of these conferences. But I'm with you. I think this is a very important year going forward. As you know, we've had some really good conversations with some prospects, whether it's the entertainment prospects, like some of the pickleball concepts, entertainment concepts, but also some of the restaurants, and then also developers that are looking, like you said, in Southwest Flossmoor there, So excited about what's to come. We realize as a team here, we need to work, we need to be aggressive this year to get some of these new concepts and some of these new retailers and developers looking at Flossmoor. But, excited about an opportunity to continue working with y'all, and I'm here if there's any questions or anything along those lines.
Thank you so much. I'll start with questions from Trustee Dorsey.
You used the term "be more aggressive" this year. Could you be more specific? What would aggressive look like, and what would the possible, and maybe if you don't have it now when you come and address, what would aggressive look like, and what would be the possible return on those aggressive actions?
Sure, that's a great question. We've had a lot of conversations, whether it be via Zoom or we've had developers and retailers come to town. When I say being a little bit more aggressive, I think just being a little bit more, I don't want to say pushy because that's not the word, but persistent with these retailers and developers to get them to town, right? To get them there, keep pushing it, getting in front of them. We're heading out, Bridget mentioned it, but we're heading to that ICSC conference in a couple of weeks. And, we've got at least 5 or 6 good meetings scheduled for the property that the village owns next to Meyer there. So I think we've been aggressive this whole time, but I think just maybe taking a little bit of a step forward, working to get these brokers and developers and also those entertainment groups to town, touring them around the sites in the community, and just that's what I meant by being more aggressive.
That's all I have.
Thank you so much. Trustee Lofton.
Thank you for being here. Could you give us an idea of what kind of strategies you are employing in moving through this environment? And also, do the demographics that we offer stack up in the minds of those folks that you're out recruiting?
I'll start with that second part of that question first, if that's okay. Yes, sir. I think your demographics do stack up. When we look at Flossmoor, we don't just look at the village limits, right? We look at what we call your retail trade area, and that's where you're pulling people from. If you were to have more of that entertainment, you were to have more of those restaurants, those retail, you're pulling people from outside of the village limits to shop there. So as you start looking at that larger trade area, that's what we're really pitching to these prospects. So I do think the numbers stack up. I'll tell you, we've been having a lot of good conversations with brokers and developers, and they just had one last week where a developer said, "Hey, Flossmoor's done the right thing, right? Taking control of that property to kind of shape and be able to get aggressive, to recruit somebody that fits what you're looking for to come in there." So I do think the demographics do step up. What was that first part of the question again?
So long ago, I don't remember.
Strategy.
Yeah, the strategy, right. Yeah, thank you.
So the strategy is getting in front of the right people. I learned a long time ago, it's not all about what you know, right? It's also about who you know. And that's what we're trying to do with the retail coach is really use those relationships that we have with the brokers and the developers to get them to look at Flossmoor, right? We're talking to some developers that are out of state. We're talking to several that are out of state. And, that strategy is getting them to the community, getting them to look at that. But even if we can't get them there, you've got a great team, with the mayor, with Bridget, and the rest of your kind of planning and economic development team. When you bring them all together on a Zoom call or you bring them in front of these developers, they all kind of, they know what to say, right? They know what to do from that standpoint. So the strategy is to be very targeted. Target those retailers, target those developers that fit your community, right? Fit who your consumers want to see in where they shop, where they eat, those sort of things. So our strategy is hyper-focused in going after those. I think there's a need not just for restaurants and retail, but that entertainment part of it as well. We've talked about the need for more entertainment in town. So that's kind of a hint, or that's a little bit of the strategy that we're going for there. But we're gearing up strategy-wise to go to that ICSC conference. It'll be in 2 weeks, and we'll get to see a lot of prospects there.
Thank you, Trustee Matros.
I don't have any questions. You've given us some kind of good insight. We've been working on this for a long time, so it's a progress. We got the land. We made an investment in that, we did the things to get it all together, and it's still a process. It doesn't happen overnight. So thank you for your efforts, and keep pushing.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Ms. Daco.
I've always, Aaron, been impressed with your passion and your sincerity every time we've talked. And we all understand that commercial development has a pretty long lead time. The life cycle, so to speak, of a development project is lengthy. But has there been any way for you to isolate good conversation and interest from sincere intent? So we don't want to confuse activity with progress.
Sure.
So when you talk about the projects, have you been able to put them in the appropriate categories of what Flossmoor should really be focusing on, or developers who are just curious? Can you help us with that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it's been great working with you as well, as we've had those conversations. And I think there's a lot of what we call tire kickers in this industry, right? And we'll get calls or we'll get emails from prospects. We have specifically the site next to Meyer. We have that on CoStar and LoopNet, so that people across the country can see that are in the real estate industry. And I do think we have been able to really target the right developers and the right retailers. I will tell you, we're pretty far along with the developer right now that I expect to, come back with a potential proposal before too long. We're going to be meeting with them in Vegas in a couple of weeks. So I think you're right, it does take time. It has been a couple of years, but I do think we're starting to see starting to see that hard work pay off. Now we've still got a long way to go, but I do expect we're going to have at least a couple of proposals coming in within the next couple of months. Knock on wood, but I do feel like we've been able to target the right users, the right developers, kind of been able to distinguish the tire kickers from the real prospects there. But I think, like I said, I think the next 2 to 3 months will probably be very critical on this process.
Thank you. That sounds good. That answers my question.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Trustee Rogers.
Yeah, I did have a question. You mentioned that just looking at the landscape of Flossmoor and certain developers, and with the market changing, there's a paradigm shift. So what's stopping some of those developers that you've been having conversations with that may not be interested in Flossmoor? Are there things that we need to do to get the village prepared? Or is there a demographic that they don't think we have, that they would like to serve? What do those conversations look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think one of the biggest challenges that Flossmoor runs into is just competition in the overall region. So competition within, let's say, 30, 50 miles. So we're talking to these developers, we're talking to these retailers that, store spacing is incredibly important to them. If they're going to locate a store in Flossmoor, how's that going to impact a store down the road, right? And I think those are some of the things that we've heard maybe over the last year or two from some of these retailers or developers on why they haven't pulled the trigger. We're taking an even deeper dive into being more strategic and more targeted in this recruitment. So, I think it's just about finding the right retailer, right developer. I mean, we're coming, the economy hasn't been great for some of these developers over the last year or two. And I think we're starting to see, some of these developers that maybe have been able to store up some cash over the last couple of years are ready to kind of dive into development again. So I hope that answers your question. But I think the store spacing issue is probably the biggest. As far as identifying improvements to anything that can be done, let me think on that one. I think it's been more, the conversations have been more positive than ever, I'd say, in the last couple of months, just with meetings that have been scheduled with your city staff there. Things seem to be moving in the right direction.
I think the other thing I wanted to ask, just basically listening to you now, those developers that you're talking with, are these newer developers that seem to be interested, or are more of the experienced developers kind of shying away from Flossmoor because of that cluster of businesses, and they know that it'll bring in other businesses, and we right now may not have that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's kind of a mix of both, to be honest with you. I mean, we've got a couple of developers that we've been talking with for over a year that are interested in this property. We just need them to pull the trigger, right? So we're trying to push on those. You know, I wouldn't call them necessarily more experienced developers, but just developers that have had interest in this market for a while. Now, we're seeing a lot of new concepts come about. You know, I talked about the entertainment. I talked about like the pickleball concepts, and you know, we call them like experiential retail. We're seeing a lot of those new concepts come out. You know, as of late, a lot of the just a lot of new companies coming from that. So some of these conversations are centered around some of those newer brands that are coming out, some of those newer experiential retailers. So it really is kind of a mixture of it. I will tell you, one of the developers, the one I mentioned earlier, we're meeting with them in Vegas. They kind of shared with me just today kind of what their plans are. They want to put a proposal together for, you know, maybe some of the pad sites in fronting Volmer Road there, kind of next to Meyer, and I'm pretty excited about it. So, you know, I think there's interest. We just got to push them a little bit harder, and I think we'll start to see some things come in.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you, Trustee Daggett.
Yeah, so Aaron, you have a tough job. Commercial space is not easy. You know, one of the good things about it is it's not emotional. But the other thing about it is it's not emotional, so it's hard to get people to pull the trigger because they fall in love with Flossmoor like we all have. It's really bottom dollar. I mean, if the numbers make sense, then they're going to do something. And then I think also, as you said, there's also a lot of other municipalities who also have land that we're competing with. So if they have a choice to come to Flossmoor, or maybe somewhere that has a more dense population, it's a tough sell. So I totally get it. I totally understand that, you know, commercial takes a long time. I definitely would like to see more of a concrete move forward with whether there's some LOIs or some proposals, just so we can kind of see, you know, let's get moving. And I know you want the same thing.
Sure.
But that is definitely something that I would like to see in the next year. So if this comes back around next time and we're in the same spot, then I think it's a different conversation. So, but I'm in favor of continuing. I think a lot of the connections that you have brought, hearing that there's some things that are kind of on the back burner and people need to make decisions. You know, if they make a decision to not come, I'd really love to have some information as to why they didn't. So we have that. So if there is something that we can do in the way we're marketing ourselves as a village while we're getting your assistance, that we're able to do that. So I think the 6-month follow-up that we've talked about would be very valuable because that gives us an idea where we're going. So.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree about this year and this being an important year and understand everything you mentioned there. I will tell you, we keep track of all of the retailers and developers. We keep track of what they tell us, right? Whether it's a maybe, a yes, a no on Flossmoor. So what I would be happy to do is put together just kind of a memo for you that where you can see what those responses have been in the past. Be happy to put that together for you so you can see some of that feedback we're receiving.
Yeah, I think that would be great because that would also give us kind of a volume of the interest that we have had. So yeah, that would be very helpful.
May I ask a
Thank you.
question?
Sure, Trustee.
I would like to ask a question, Aaron, about what you just said. Would that list, it would not be in lieu of a 6?
No.
It'd just be additional?
Absolutely. We meet with your city staff on a regular basis. And my plan, I was talking with my team this afternoon, my plan is to try to provide kind of a written update to y'all on a more regular basis, but then we'll also provide that 6-month update, whether that's via Zoom or in person if you'd like us to come in person. Either way, we'll do that, and that would just be in addition to that 6-month update.
Do we ever know if the developer who might have said no or just didn't pull the trigger, if they went somewhere else? Do you know that? And do you know why they may have gone somewhere else?
Yeah, we keep track of that as much as we can. when I put that memo together that talks about, kind of response we've got, the ones that we have been able to track where they've gone, a lot of times what happens is, we're talking to a developer, or we're talking to one of these entertainment prospects, and they're only going to open 5 or 10 in the U.S. during the next 12 months or whatever it might be. So we are tracking, if they don't open at Flossmoor, where do they open? So I can put that in there as well, and so you at least, for the ones I have that information on, so you can see that.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you. And Village Manager Wachtel had some interesting perspective to share on the Meyer development and what the village went through. I'd like you to share that with the board, please.
Just to the point of how long a development can occur, it took Meyer probably 3 to 4 years to assemble property, and they walked away at least 2 times where we thought nothing was going to move forward and the project was dead. And then all of a sudden it just all came together. So it can be a fickle business, and having as the municipality, having patience to get the end users that you want to see in there takes some time. So we'll keep at it.
Could I ask one more question?
Yes, Trustee Lupton.
In your analysis, it would help if we could get an idea of what the dark side of some of the opinions might be, so that we can maybe regroup in what we're really excited about. Because if they walk away, as you mentioned, or the question was asked, if someone goes somewhere else, there's always a reason behind that, and we don't want to ignore it.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. We'll work on getting that over to you, for sure.
Thank you. Clerk LaCava, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Mustafa? Yes. Trustee Rogers? Yes. Trustee Daggett?
Yes.
Trustee Dorsey?
Yes.
Trustee Lofton?
Yes.
Trustee Mitros?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you so much. We don't have any discussion items today, and we do not need to go into the executive session. So I'm going to call for other business and then we'll adjourn. Trustee Daggett.
So just a couple things. Wanted to say again, welcome to Trustee Rogers and Trustee Dorsey. Looking forward to working with you for the next 4 years and really getting some great work done on the board. I've been very impressed in getting a chance to meet you guys through the process of the election. As you said, we were on tour, so we got to hang out with each other and see what each other's views were. And I appreciated being able to go through the orientation with you guys and get even more perspective. The questions you guys were asking, I was like, oh wow, they're really you're asking great questions. Not that I'm the person to judge what great questions are, but I can tell that you didn't do this just for the position, you did it because you really want to serve, and that's huge, so thank you for that. Also just wanted to give a shout out to Parker Junior High. There's a history competition in the state of Illinois. My daughter was actually on that team, and they won first prize in the state of Illinois for their presentation about the AIDS epidemic. And they are actually going to Washington, D.C. to compete nationally for Flossmoor in June. So it was fantastic. They did a great job. The thing that was so cool about it is they picked a topic that a lot of people didn't want to touch. They did the AIDS epidemic. And knocked it out the park. Just did a fantastic job. So they represent Flossmoor very well. Obviously, I'm extremely biased when it comes to this one because my daughter was on there, but just a shout out to them and congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. Her hand was fantastic. Trustee Dorsey.
The village clerk made a comment when she was being sworn in about the efficiency and the amount of work that goes into running this village. And the fact that the average citizen doesn't know. And I'll tell you, I thought I wasn't an average citizen, but after the orientation and all of the department heads that came and presented, there was a lot of knowledge and detail that was so extremely impressive. I run a huge academic center, and the amount of detail and the work and the budget and the work that's being done in our public service. I mean, you guys are just, I had an education of some things that I had to go home and reread 4 or 5 times because it was extremely impressive, but the level of detail that was put into this. I've known the fire chief for over 2 decades. He was a mere pup when we first met, but just the amount of of work that goes into running this and the level of efficiency. I echo that the average citizen is so unaware of what we have in this village. I am proud to be part of the leadership of this village, and I hope I can contribute even just a smidgen of what everyone else has done thus far. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Trustee Lofton.
I want to echo my welcome for Dr. Rogers and Dr. Dorsey as new trustees. I did have an opportunity to watch them on the campaign, and it's quite impressive. The way they speak and the things that they already know, and you're right, I'm sure there's more to learn. We're still learning, actually. But I welcome you, look forward to working with you. I think it's going to be an exciting time for our village with this team, so welcome aboard.
Thank you, Trustee Montrose.
I'd like to welcome everyone too. I look forward to the next few years and hearing congratulations, and I continue to look forward to working with you. And I want to congratulate Ann for she's gone, the 47th year of
Ann of the Finance Director.
So, I mean, that's just incredible. And there's a sentence in here, provides significant benefits to the effectiveness of village government and provides the highest level of accountability to our citizens. That's huge. I mean, everything is right there for anyone that wants to know to pick up a budget and see. Our books are open, and our staff does such a great job. And I echo Kevin's response. So welcome to the board, and we look forward to working with you guys.
Thank you, Trustee Mustafa.
I am not going to apologize for being redundant. Welcome, Dr. Rogers. Welcome, Dr. Dorsey. I know I will learn from you. It's not an easy decision to decide to run for office, even in a relatively small municipality. It's not an easy process to run a campaign or to conduct a campaign. The scrutiny, the microscope that could be on you, it can be a lot. But you both handled the whole last months with integrity, graciousness, honesty. You're just authentic. I'm really looking forward to serving with you, and I thank you for making the decision to run. Congratulations.
Thank you, Trustee Rogers.
I just want to echo what Dr. Dorsey said. The staff and all the trustees up here do a lot. Fire chief, we had some commonalities that we didn't even know and cross paths. But they do so much, and you do forget what they do. Some of the things are GIS. We talked about things that we had, commonalities. The staff does a lot. And sometimes I'm amazed at how they do it. There's people that wear multiple hats to run this village, and as a citizen, we often forget that. You think about a household, there's so many hats that you have to wear to run a household, but to run a village, there's even more. And, the orientation that we went through really just brought those things back to fruition for me. So I do want to say thank you to the staff, because they really do a lot, wearing multiple hats. We just sat there and thought about it and talked about it. And so thank you for all that you do. And you do deserve those awards. So kudos to you, and also thank you to all the trustees and the mayor for welcoming us and making us feel like we're on a team, because we are. So thank you.
Thank you. Clerk McDonald.
Welcome to our new trustees, and my only advice is just make sure your microphones are turned on, bend down, and one of these days Trustee Mitros will get it too. So.
Thank you. Village Attorney, Acting Village Attorney.
Actually, I do have a couple of things to say. I know that's a shock. We're in interesting times, as you all know, especially when it comes to trying to figure out the federal government and whether you're getting funds or not. I tell everybody all the time, whether it includes you or not, so I screwed up my own rules. One thing that the Illinois Local Government Attorneys Association just last week reviewed was in the new federal grant applications, somebody has to certify that the grant recipient does not have any policies that violate the federal anti-discrimination laws. Under the previous administration, everybody had to prominently display and prove that they had DEI policies. And the current administration is looking at the DEI as affirmative action, and that is in violation of the anti-discrimination laws, because that in and of itself was discriminatory based on race. So who's going to certify? Who's going to sign off on any grant application that your policies are in full compliance with the federal anti-discrimination laws? And if this village has DEI policies, I'm going to recommend, not that you say, forget all that stuff, but that we write anti-discrimination policy that is strongly advocating that we shall not discriminate based upon any protected class, and that has the proper complaint procedure in place for anybody who thinks that the village has done something inappropriate under either state or federal law. So you're still going to be doing the exact same thing, protecting everybody's rights under the anti-discrimination laws. But if you have DEI policies, those buzzwords are going to cause some concern if you have federal grants and somebody has signed a certification and they do audits of grant recipients and to see if you actually have done what you said you were going to do or that you had in place. So our local government attorney's advice is to make sure you have strong anti-discrimination policies, but that you don't necessarily call them DEI policies, and you get the same results. You take care of people, you hire the right people, and your staff is excellent, and they'll do a good job for you. So that's number one. I have three. That's the longest one. Number two, anybody that runs for office puts themselves and their families out there. It's not easy. I'll never run for office. I won't explain why, but I will not do so. But I have a law firm that we've had a motto for a long time, that we are dedicated to those who serve others. So thank you for your service. And for the newbies, thanks don't come very often. You deserve them a lot more than you will get. You do it for the right reasons, and I appreciate your support. Community needs to support all of you. And you all will listen to them, hear them out, but do what you think is best for your community. That's your job. Your job is to ask questions and do what you think is best for the community. So congratulations. And finally, I'll be Carl Addison. Pastor Andrea, when she was giving that little prayer for you all, I thought of an Andy Capp cartoon where Mrs. Capp is not happy with Mr. Capp as they're coming out of church. And the caption is, well, I thought it was a flippin' good service. And she says, you didn't have to clap. I thought it was an excellent prayer, and I almost clapped for it. So the message was excellent. And as public servants, I thank you. That's all I have, folks.
Thank you so much. Village Manager Wachtel.
Thank you. I'll add to the thank yous and to the welcomes. Welcome to Trustee Rogers and Trustee Dorsey. It's been a pleasure to start to get to know both of you more than we already have. through the orientation process, and thank you for the kind words to staff and myself on what you've been able to garner and learn so far. And we truly look forward to working with you over these next 4 years. Unfortunately, Director Novoa stepped out when Trustee Mitros was commenting on the 47th year of receiving the GFOA Certificate of Achievement. I just want to add, to date, only 2 municipalities in Illinois have a longer streak than Flossmoor with that record, and we are the only South Suburban municipality to have such a long streak. So it is definitely a pleasure. Hard work and dedication of our finance department, led by Director Novoa, the dedication of everybody else in the back of the room and their respective financial management, those of previous finance directors and village board and village managers. So it is an achievement for all of us to enjoy. So congratulations to the community. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you so much. I've just got a couple of things. Man, it's been busy around here. I want to give a shout out to everybody who came out for Flossmoor Baseball and Softball Association's opening day parade, and also the folks that helped clean up all of our parks throughout HF Park District. Hundreds of volunteers made both events extremely successful. Thank you for your volunteer spirit. Also want to congratulate the Parker PTO on their inaugural 5K fun run. We're going to do it again next year. It was a great time from those who were able to make it. Let's see. The governor's office visited us about a week and a half ago. It was a successful meeting with them. I'm trying to bring the governor here to get additional highlights of our local businesses. They were able to provide me with resources that will be passed along to our small businesses here locally, and it was really just an honor to meet with them direct. Later on, Tuesday, there's a ribbon cutting. That's tomorrow for the science wing of Homewood-Flossmoor High School. Village Manager Wachtell and I will be there. And as an engineer, I am super excited to see the new science wing, and thankful that my daughter will get to participate and be in one of those classrooms. U.S. Small Business Administration is coming to visit Flossmoor businesses. A press release on that went out on Friday. They'll be here on Wednesday morning touring several of our businesses, highlighting our businesses, and then also attending a Q&A event at the end to offer resources and guidance. So looking forward to that meeting. Thursday, May 8th, from 6 to 8, Flossmoor Library Basement. We're having an open house for the 3rd phase of the Flossmoor Road Viaduct project. Please help spread the word for those who may be impacted and might need to join that meeting. Cone with a Cop at Rainbow Cone is going to be on Thursday, May 15th from 5:30 to 7:30. Cop on a Rooftop will be the following morning, starting at 5 a.m. at Dunkin' Donuts. This is where they raise money for Illinois Special Olympics. So any donations that they get in the drive-thru or as they park their cars go straight to Illinois Special Olympics, and you get a free cup of coffee or a donut of your choice. Downtown renovation. Well, I've got you all here and your captive audience. Downtown renovations will start soon. We're waiting on the state to get back to us with the exact timing. They're in charge of the grant award. If you'd like more information on that project, please check out our website. There's also signage downtown, or just give me a call. And then last but not least, Happy Mother's Day, everybody. I hope to those who mother and to those who are mothers, thank you for all the work that you do. And to those who have lost a mother, I'm so sorry for your loss, and I hope that comfort of family and friends help you. With that, I'll ask for an adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Have a great evening. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out.